Morning. It's Tuesday, March 12th, and the war in Israel is still going on. Although right now there seems to be some sort of ceasefire going on. So in any event, when I'm listening to this and watching what's going on there and trying to figure out what the Israelis are going to do next, because Netanyahu hasn't told everybody everything. Meanwhile, there's a ceasefire going on, and we don't know how long that's going to last. But here's something that's very important that happened. Yesterday was the start of the holy month of Ramadan. Now, Ramadan is celebrated in the 9th month of the Muslim year. One of the main features of Ramadan is the strict fasting rule. You are not supposed to eat from sunup to sundown. In fact, every morning before the sun breaks through or before it becomes light, there's a bunch of bugles and other large sounds to alert the population that it's time for breakfast and you better eat fast. Because once it becomes daylight, you cannot eat or you should not eat until sundown, which could be 12 or 14 hours away. This commemoration, for lack of a better term, lasts between 29 and 30 days, lasting from one sighting of the crescent moon to the next sighting of the crescent moon. This is a commemoration of Muhammad's first revelation. It's the annual observance of Ramadan is regarded as one of the 5 pillars of Islam. And as I said before, it lasts 29 to 30 days. When you talk about the 9th month of the calendar, which is the month of Ramadan, that's the Muslim calendar. And this is the holy month of fasting. Because the Muslim calendar year is shorter than the Gregorian calendar year, Ramadan begins 10 to 12 days earlier each year. That allows it to fall in every season throughout a full 33-year cycle. Now, when we look at Islamic tradition, we find that during Ramadan, on the night of power, the night which is commemorated on one of the last 10 nights of Ramadan, usually the 27th night, that's when God revealed to the Prophet Muhammad the Quran, Islam's holy book. This book was to be used as a guidance for the people. For Muslims, Ramadan is a period of introspection. Communal prayer is said in the mosque, and the reading of the Quran is essential because God forgives the past sins of those who observe the holy month with fasting, prayer, and faithful intention. Ramadan is not a period of atonement. It is a time for Muslims to practice self-restraint in keeping with the Swam, which is a refrain. It's one of the pillars of Islam, one of the 5 basic tenets of the Muslim religion. Although Swam is most commonly understood as the obligation to fast during Ramadan, it is more broadly interpreted as the obligation to refrain between dawn and dusk from food, drink, sexual activity, and all forms of immoral behavior, which includes impure or unkind thought. Thus, according to the Quran, false words or bad deeds or intentions are as destructive of this time as breaking the fast or eating others or drinking or whatever, a strict interpretation. So once you've gotten through the day, then it's time for the sunset prayer. And then the Muslims will gather in their homes or in the mosque to break their fast with a meal that is called the iftar. And that's often shared with friends and extended family. It's kind of like Passover every night. And then they will have food that Muhammad used to have, apricots or water or sweetened milk. There are traditional prayers that they say. And during these prayers, the entire Quran may be recited over the course of the month of Ramadan. Now, in Muslim majority countries, the work schedules are quite often adjusted so that people can pray properly and celebrate Ramadan properly. In other countries, accommodations will or could be adjusted according to how each organization feels about its employees. That's probably just like anybody else, like the Jews who take off on Saturdays and stuff like that. If you're a good worker and you're a Muslim, your boss will probably accommodate you. If not, you may have to look for another job. Now, the Psalm or fast can be invalidated by eating or drinking at the wrong time, and so you will have lost the day. Or if you become ill during the month or you travel, then you can add extra fasting days to accommodate the losses. So Ramadan is flexible, because if I have to go or do something for a couple of days and I can't accommodate the regular fasting time, I can make it up somewhere later on. In volunteering and performing righteous works or feeding the poor can be substituted for fasting if necessary. Able-bodied adults and older children fast during the daylight hours from dawn to dusk. Pregnant or nursing women, children, the old, the weak, and travelers on long journeys, and the mentally ill are all exempt from the requirement of fasting. Now, that's an interesting concept, allowing certain members of the community to not have to fast. So that's what I learned about Ramadan, and it was enlightening. And it's too bad that the majority of people who practice Ramadan still perform evil deeds against the Jewish population mostly. So I'll leave you with that this morning. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.